start out by saying, I'm gonna start out by saying, societal structures and systematic aspects seek to have individuals control the narrative by representation of who gives the understanding of what particular value is important. What does that even mean, right? That's like saying everybody who writes a piece of knowledge through some form of retrospect, the reason why that knowledge got placed there is how you're going to perceive reality opposed to what reality is actually. It's a new way of, quote unquote, the words we use for whitewashing. So you have people talking about this guy experienced this or that guy experienced this and they wrote about it first and da 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 da. It's always first, second, and third. That's because, like, if I want your house, if I want your life, I have to remake it. I have to remake it in the existence of everything you talk about, but in my perception or my perspective. You know, you sit back and you wonder why the world is so treacherous today. Like, why are people so... Why is everything the way it is? Like, why, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why do women lie so damn much? Why do people deal with crime so much? Why people don't care about the collective understanding, but then we fall back on this particular understanding that we come from something, right? We come from some particular value of divine retrospect. It's almost like you want to believe that other than what you actually are more apt to do. And then slash that sidebar. You've been pushed with a form of oppression to your mind to make you believe that you are less than. So because that has been the simultaneous pressure towards a value, you've got to the point to where you've said, I'm just going to accept that and I'm going to be that. So now when you have certain people who create the value of what systemically would be what you call the system, you automatically fall to the retrospects of how you're described, and you start to become that, and you get real good at it. You get good at being the bad guy. You get good at being the worst. You get good at being the liars. You get good at being the manipulators. You know what I'm saying? Like, and despite the value of any other symbolic understanding to show you that that's not true, you've already accepted, because in a world that's not created for you, you would digress to the understanding that's trying to be projected on you. And that's what I see when I look out over everything. I see a world that's created by people that never had that. Like, you gotta... The problem with a mind is when it's weak, it can't see. It can't think for itself. You know what I'm saying? You may think you're thinking for yourself, but you're basically thinking off the perception that the system allows you to think from. So nobody really thinks for themselves. They're only guided by the perception that's placed upon them. And then you look at how much, how large, because that is a standpoint. That's a standpoint of a value. Like, imagine you being a culture, right? Walking into a world like that. A set of people where when they come into the existence, no matter where they were created from or who created them, when they come into the known world, they're being told that this world is for these people, naturally and physically. So you see naturally the response to it, and you see the physical response to it. And then you come into this world and you see everything in indifferent. People who fought for that as a value, who tried to explain that, right? They're not here no more. They're dead. So their fight was kind of in vain. You know, if you wring a rag out and you keep squeezing it, eventually you're going to get a lot of the water out to where even if it's damp, it won't drip no more water. Because after you get it all out, at least enough to where it won't drip, it starts to dry. And then now it's on the path of being not a wet rag anymore. It's going to be a dry one. After a while, you hang it up, you squeeze enough water out of it. So the flow starts to go away. Even though it's real, it was wet. It was a reality. That reality can be changed. No matter if it's fake or not. No matter if it's forced or not. Not to say fake, forced. So, despite the value of, that's why I went back to this understanding when I was like, yo, my people was told me a long time ago, only one gonna take care of your shit is you. Don't let people borrow your shit because they ain't gonna take care of it like you will. Think about that when it comes to the world. Somebody can steal from you. They can take your shit. You know what I'm saying? They might not take care of it though. They might just fuck it all up. You know what I'm saying? They might mess it all up, but they took it from you. You might not have wanted to give it to them, but they took it. And now they're in control of it. And because they're in control of it, you can't expect them to do with it how you would. So it's almost like the largest way of looking at learning a lesson from a different point of view. And then the crazy part about it is people are so non-mental structured in their mind. They don't have this. They may not want you to tell them that they can't think for themselves or they're fucking stupid. You know what I'm saying? They might not want to hear that they're fucking stupid. But easily manipulated into the same characters, right? And that's stupid. To me, that's dumb. That's dumb as shit. You have people that pose as if they're intelligent, you know what I'm saying, or have some form of intelligence, when in fact, they're only the greatest manipulators. A manipulator have a conversation with you. They'll talk to you and have a face as if they're cordial. You don't know what's behind that face. It's like a mask. The reason why I'm saying these things is because I'm trying to figure out what's the point. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if you give a piece of knowledge, you start hearing, and I listen to some of these people speak about what they see spirituality to be, what they think divine is, what's going on in the world. And it's all like funneling into a direction. You know what I'm saying? It's like they're going to make it their own, despite what we say. I even heard this young brother, right? This young brother was on, I think might have been TikTok or something like that. Man, no, it was on another social media that I'm on. But I'm watching him talk, and he said, I'm trying to make sure my people, just like everybody else do it, and they represent for their people, I'm going to make sure mines do it. And I'm listening to him talk, and I can see the fire in him. I can see his next 30 years, right? But then I started thinking about how much of his culture that he's unaware, because he's in love with his culture. And that love is like blindness. When you love what you are, you love where you come from, it's like blinders. I'm not saying not to love that. What I'm saying is in this world, and then not for nothing, I do know about contrast. So we systemically might have had this opportunity to go through being processed into turning against one another, right? And being brought to a different camaraderie as far as what made us great in the first place. And now today, in the day that we're living right now, how we're speaking, we don't have that as a conscious understanding as much as we want it to be, as far as ultimate camaraderie. We don't have that because a nigga still a rob your ass, still a kill you, you know what I'm saying? Like, your family will stab you in the back. You know, your girl will cheat on you, your man will cheat on you. Like, all this shit is relevant. But something always dawns on me, right? That expectation is always placed in the wrong time frames. So you have young adults that expect young adults to treat them fairly when in fact your body mentally is not prepared for that. You know what I'm saying? Like, your frontal lobe doesn't become full until you're in your 30s. That's why people start to slow down in their 30s. You start to see a little better as far as getting conscious awareness of values. And when you start looking at certain math problems, whether it's a word problem, whether it's a circumstance from the past, present, or future, you can kind of equate it to how it should be or what it shouldn't be based off naturality. And most time people decide off that naturality based off their standpoint of reality. So everybody wants to be comfortable. But then even when you go back to like Egypt understanding or the Bible pretense, when they speak about who's first and where this thing's come, look at America. Look at America right now. You got every culture trying to be here. You know what I'm saying? You got every culture trying to be here. And in 100 years, right? In 200 years, 300 years, this will be known still as the land of somebody else. All the people who fight for that as a value are possibly going to be dead. You know what I'm saying? If I was to call out a few brothers who got knowledge today, right? They're going to be dead in a little while. The only thing that's going to hold their knowledge is wherever they place it, right? So we got social media. We got YouTube. You know what I'm saying? You may have a book or something like that, but if you got to publish it through the means of the oppressor, how far do you think that's going to travel? You know what I'm saying? Like, even, like, I heard this dude say on the Jada and Joe podcast, it was like, yo, in 20, and when he said in 100 years, Biggie and Pac Biggie and Pac gonna be two different brothers in 100 years. They're gonna be two different people. They're not gonna be how we remember them in this time. The height of my intelligence, things I've shown people on social media and stuff like that, is I'm gonna be dressed up as somebody else. People try to imprint on individuals to make something that is not theirs their own. And that shows the divide. You have people who are able to think consciously and people who are unconsciously able to think. You know what I'm saying? So it just gives more life to the circumstance. If I want yours, I'm going to take it. That's the world you live in. Believe in that. And this is me. When I was a kid, I believed that it's good in the earth. I believe that good can win. You know what I'm saying? I believe eventually people will be good just because. That's the way of the Most High, right? You're gonna be good because you want to go and be, But then as you get older, you realize that even your own family don't think like that. And if it can't come from an innocent understanding, it's like even consciously, you'll be the last of a dying breed. and you'll die. You know, I can be, me personally, I can be content somewhere with certain things I can access just to get through, and I can live like that, you know what I'm saying, without a lot of extra. As long as I got, you know, whatever's right. So, but I would like to be in my own, you know, that would still be too much, right, for the world. And if you want to have it more than that, you got to have dirt on your back. And I don't mean the type of dirt on your back that's based off of literal dirt. Like, you got to be somebody that's morally effed up in order to have some form of achievement. You have to leave this world at this time as a slave because they're going to force it on you anyway, right? They're going to force it on you anyway. Like, it's like you can't beat them, you might as well join them. And I'm like, you know, that dynamic is basically systemic to areas and shit like that. So you have certain areas that are stuck like that because they just could never get past those values. And then you have other areas that never really swallowed that type of pill. They just did what they wanted. You have people that choose to move amongst these situations and then get consciously lost mentally in the energy of the area that exists. Example, people in New York, they move kind of fast. You know what I'm saying? They think for themselves. They really got a I don't give a aspect about how they doing things. People in the South, they move more to the value of submitting to what has a value. So, it's and it kind of fluctuates as you go into the middle of the country and so forth and on. When you go like say mid north, if you go like middle of the country up north, you have people who they're racist, but they're more racist in the way that they don't want to appear to be. Only if you hurt their feelings, then they'll be that way. You know what I'm saying? And then you have some of them that just are hurt off the existence of your presence. Like as soon as you show up, they just butt hurt. You know what I'm saying? They like, you know what I'm saying? So it's weird. You got some people that act like, I remember telling a friend of mine when he first moved down south, I was like, yo, don't let them convert you. You're a New Yorker at the end of the day. He got converted. You know what I'm saying? Like he did exactly what I told him not to. And he started acting different. And I was like, that ain't even how you act. And I think it was basically that he was more hurt in himself, to himself, that he threw away everything that he was and got wrapped up into being something that he's not. That's what I think really bothers him. But he can never say that because, you know, you have these things that you've now attached yourself to. And he'll bring up old things that don't even matter. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh yeah, I still talk to someone. I spoke to that person. You're just saying that because you can't be there no more. You can't, that energy is gone. You know what I'm saying? And time is delegated, you know, particular understandings of life. Even me, like, I think about certain freedoms that I created for myself based off the standpoint of how I'm able to live. And a reality for me personally was my life has never been everybody's business. So I would let people think they know what they think they know about me. You know what I'm saying? And they would go talk about what they thought they know. And that would always be false. And I would sit back and watch them be the worst version of what I never knew they can be, unbeknownst to them even knowing anything about me in the first place. And if I ever did anything out of the box that fit into the understanding of how they saw me, it had to be something. It had to be a scheme, a trick You know what I'm saying? It had to be a lie in some type of way because that's not how they see me. Well, I didn't put you where you are mentally. I didn't make you stay where you at. I didn't force you to listen to whoever you listen to. You could have had your own mind and had a part in the growth of me and seen what happened through times, but you chose to be a follower of something that you wasn't. And that banked on the understanding of how you was able to perceive the closest things to you. Like, this world is ill, yo. It's so ill. And you got to be mindful. Like, people go aimlessly every day just looking out of your eyes. And not for nothing, having things that are close to you is good and bad. It's like a double-edged sword. You know what I'm saying? Because something close to you can hate the fact that you're able to move forward. Also, you need people close to you to actually speak the accurate stories. You see what I'm saying? So it's a double-edged sword. If you have people that are attached to you, but distant from you, they can only speak from the understanding where you left off at. So they may talk about shit or values that they have from you based off when you was a teenager or something. You know what I'm saying? Like 20 years might go by. They're like, well, this is what you did then. So that shit don't mean nothing. And they're waiting to catch you in a trap of their mentality. This is how strong the mind is. So their mind is afflicted to a value that don't even exist, hasn't existed within you in a long time, but they'll hold you there in their mentality and structure a value around that. That's oppression. It's the same thing that happened with systemic oppression. They see cultures in a way that they particularly don't enjoy, lack thereof, of who they are as people. And they seek to oppress their pain on people and redescribe the values. Sometimes you have, and I didn't even want to bring it up, and I'm not going to bring it up directly. I'll speak indirectly to it. But there's people that's been in my life that I've given ultimate love to. You know what I'm saying? Like females, friends, stuff like that. And I might have put them on a pedestal as far as how I saw them at the current moment and was all enamored by what they brought to the table. And as soon as they got comfortable enough, they showed me exactly who they were. I might have been around them at my lowest. And as soon as they got to the opportunity, they would slide away and ghost me or treat me like I'm insignificant and then pop back around like, hey, how's it going? What's going on? And I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to talk to you. You're not the, you've shown me how you would be at your best when you thought it was something involved in value for you. And then you showed me how you would act if it wasn't like that, if things were low and left. And now you come back when the roller coaster is on its way back up and you think you could just throw on a smile and everything is going to work. I don't even want you around me. It's more like a fly, like bzzz, away from me. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm going to say it in the most polite way. You know what I'm saying? I think I told somebody that just recently, like, don't you got something else to do? I'm pretty sure you do. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's just me being polite. I can be nasty if I want to, but you're not going to keep doing me dirty because you think you're entitled or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, when I give you love, I gave you love. And you didn't cherish that. You didn't cater to it. You know what I'm saying? You didn't nurture it. You played a role that you thought was good enough. And that good enough ain't never good enough. Damn, how we get to 24 minutes so fast? I'll be cooking, yo. And don't even be seeing that I get so deep in some shit. Anyway, it's just the point, right? It's just the point to the value. Everybody has something wrong with their minds. And you don't see that you have something wrong with your mind because you quickly attach yourself to the energy of the area. And that energy starts to delegate how you truly see things. I'm not like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not like that. I carry truth with me. I carry a true sight with me no matter where I go. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I expect everybody to treat everybody fair. You know what I'm saying? But this is not the world of that. This is a world where people are selfish and they're out for themselves. You know what I'm saying? And that's based off the knowledge. That's based off receiving. That's based off materialistic value. That's based off love. That's based off everything. Like, you can actually have a conversation with a nice young lady and hope that, you know what I'm saying, that conversation is going to go somewhere, but then they start saying things that stand out more to the fact that, let me get the fuck away from you. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I know when I was young, I might have been like, I don't care. You know what I'm saying? We about to have some fun. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I don't care. Because after I get some fun with you, I ain't probably going to see you no more anyway. I was young and stupid. I'm 46. You know what I'm saying? And I'm still not super old. But I'm in a mentality to where I've already murdered the versions of myself that have came from different timelines. You know what I'm saying? Being 46, that's 4 10s and a 6. You know what I'm saying? I've killed those dudes. I killed the 10-year-old, the 20-year-old, the 30-year-old. You know what I'm saying? And I've actually headshot the 5-year-old. I'm just holding on to this to the 1-year-old that's a part of the 6, right? The part of the 40, the 46, the 1, because 4 and 5 is 9, 1, makes 46, but the 1 makes a new start. It starts over, right? So if I'm already in a new dynamic of thinking, being 46, because 4 and 6 is 10, right? So 4 and 6 is 10, which is 1 makes it start over. So when I was 45, I had a whole nother way of thinking. And a lot of people never caught up to that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the dope part, because from 35 to 45, right? I had 10 different ways of thinking. Like, you know what I'm saying? And people only know the retrospect from probably when I was like 26. That's probably like the last thing they remember. You know what I'm saying? So, but from 26 to 35, that was a whole nother person. I headshotted him, bang. And if you wasn't around for that, you didn't really get much energy than that. You probably just got whiffs of this energy like, yo, what the fuck is that? That's something different. I've already headshotted that dude. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's dead and gone. So, from 35 to 45 was a different time. And a lot of people didn't get a chance to be around me for that too, because I was experiencing life. So if somebody did experience a little bit of that, they're only holding on to that because that's what they think it is. I've already headshotted that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like, so now, and I know this for myself. I know now the way I am right now. A lot of people don't know me. And I can tell by the way they, you know what I'm saying, by the way they move or what they think. I can see the eyes move a certain way. I can see facial expressions. I can see words they throw out that they think are words that are going to get me to be like, ooh, yeah, da-da-da-da, oh, da-da-da-da. You know what I'm saying? I really don't give a shit. I really don't be caring. I be like, yo, look, all right, it's cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of things I would have got mad about in different times of my life, I just document the fact that you think you could treat me like that. I don't get mad about it. It's just in my head like, oh, word, that's how you feel? You could treat me like that? All right. Remember you treated me like that. You know what I'm saying? That's how I'm thinking. You know what I'm saying? I'm not thinking like, oh, damn, when I get an opportunity, I'm going to say something. Like, I'm not even thinking like that. In my head, I'm like, word, remember that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a different energy. And the energies keep changing because you mature. You mature every time you go through a different time frame. And through pain, especially when people are inflicting it on you, your mind seeks to rewire its understanding. Especially when you don't respond, because you give the body a full understanding to actually comprehend what's going on. Some people never get to that point in reality. They just let people do shit to them. They let people treat them certain ways, and they just sit there and be like, okay. You know what I'm saying? And then you've been living that way for a long time. You think that's what life is. I've never been like that. I never been like that. I grow off everything that comes into the circumference of my value. It could be an ant, and that ant bite me a certain way. You won't bite me like that tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just what it is, yo. It's just what it is. And I watch energies play roles. Like it's so deep for me now. I know what you thinking by the way you breathe. You know, like you know what I'm saying? Like I know what people be. I know what they're thinking by their emotions. Like, and it's crazy because I don't even know how that came about. I really don't. I don't be knowing how most of these ways I think come into fruition, but it's so deep for me right now. Like you can't just move around me certain ways. I see everything you're thinking on your face. I see it already. You don't have to say nothing. You know what I'm saying? I see it. And I used to say when I was young, I was a late bloomer. You know what I'm saying? Like, because it would seem like I was just a little bit behind on growing in certain ways. But then I would experience things a lot faster than people. That's a weird dynamic right there. I had the most craziest dream last night, yo. The craziest dream. But it was actually cool because it's a dream that I had a long time ago, right? And in the dream I had a long time ago, the same people was in the dream. We end up going through the same thing, being trapped in the same place. But the female wasn't on my side in the first time. She was on, and they escaped with the diamonds. You know what I'm saying? So I'm sitting there like, yo. And then this time, we end up going through the same thing all over again. And she was mad at the other people when she ended up coming with us. And I'm like, what are you doing here? And then there was this scene in the dream when me and her was laying, like, we was talking, and she was like laying kind of in a fetal position on the bed. And her head was on a pillow. And I kind of like was like laying on the side, and I was looking at her, and I asked her sign. And she told me what her sign was, right? And I was like, yeah, you know, I said something slick. And it was funny because I laughed. I laughed in my sleep, right? This is how real it was. You know what I'm saying? I laughed in my sleep, and she smiled at me in a certain way, and she gave me the diamonds back after that. Like, you know what I'm saying? She gave them to me, and it was like I thought, because in the first dream she gave me the bag, and the bag was empty. But in this dream, after I said what I said, she gave me the bag this time, and the bag was full. And I looked, and I'm like, wait, they're in there. You gave me the dice. You gave me. She's like, I'm with you. And I'm like, word, say less. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I was happy because my homies in the dream, I guess whoever played, you know, and it's weird because I'm thinking maybe other people was in this dream with me too, and they were sleeping and dreaming the same thing because they ran past the door again. They was like, yo, did she give you the bag again? And I was like, yeah, but this time the diamonds is in it. They're like, for real? They were shocked as me. I'm like, yeah, the diamonds is in there. It's like, yo, word, what'd you say? I was like, don't even worry about it. So we jumped in this car, and the car was invisible. Couldn't even see the car, yo. But you can get in the car, right? You can get in it. And we drove off, and I remember when we was coming out of the prison, driving off the lot. All of us was locked up. We was coming out of the prison, though. But it wasn't like we was incarcerated. We was just there, like, using it as a place to chill. But people were locked up there. It's weird as shit. So we coming out, and they looking at y'all leaving? Like, yeah, we out of here. Yo, we got into an invisible car, and I remember driving off, and the other prisoners were still there. And they was like, yo, I've never seen a car like that before. I was like, yeah, you don't see it now, neither. You won't see it. And we drove off in the invisible car, like, and she was with us, and then I woke up. And I woke up laughing, like, no, I'm not telling y'all the whole dream because I know how energies work in this world. I know energies like to steal stuff. So I'm not telling the whole dream. It's none of your business. You know what I'm saying? But whoever she was, she knew who she was. And she knew what she was doing. You know what I'm saying? So, but the time we living in it's a weird time, yo. And sometimes I'm thinking I'm in a coma, yo. I think I'm in a coma sometimes. Like, I don't think this is real. Like, that's how I be feeling. And it was dope. Like, I'm like, even tonight I went outside and was, you know, just deliberating on some thoughts of my own, and I said something, right? Like last night I went outside and I was just looking at the sky and I seen a shooting star. And then tonight I sat in the porch the same way. And I'm having these thoughts, right? And I'm like, yo, why things that run across things you see is important. Like when you get a chance to see something, it's a reason why you're seeing that. So I'm asking myself, why did I get a chance to see this? Why is this rapper specifically in my face? Why is this? Why is that? Like, why are these pieces? Right? And I'm looking at all these little small pieces and I'm putting them together. And I'm like, yo, that would be ill if that's the reason why these two people actually hang out, because this, and people used to say this about me back in the day, and what if the reason why is because I'm really in like, it's just all these thoughts, right? Just because I do that in my head. My head is an ill Rubik's Cube. Like, it's easy for me to start turning the wheel, right? And then I started having visions, right, of being somewhere else, like I was in a coma. And people that I think that are relevant in this life right now was literally family members outside of where I am in a coma. And then I started having thoughts like, yo, what if in this other world I was placed in a situation, but I'm growing, I'm still moving. It's like, no, he's still alive. His body's still responding, but he don't know it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and family members was like, they're getting older, they're changing and stuff like that, but they want me to wake up. And I haven't woken up yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's weird. As soon as I said that, as soon as I said one of the people who I thought is involved is the reason why I keep seeing them, a shooting star fell. And I was like, that's crazy. Is that symbolic? What does that even mean, right? And I know that's like a stretch, because this world feels so real. And then I started thinking, like, you know, the fallen wanted to have a world of their own. They wanted to create their own culture. They wanted to create, you know, to give it to the divine, stick it to the divine, right? And then I started thinking even more, and I'm like, what if all of this is created by the minds? Because we want to have our own world. We keep talking about imperfection, 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 divine seeds, the light, all that. We keep talking about it. It's like it's a relevant thing. But what if the reason why it's like this, the reason why we believe it's split in half, is because we are the reason why it's like that? This is why it's imperative for us to believe in the Most High. Everything in one nutshell. Not half and half, not these people are good and these people are bad. You know what I'm saying? That would be a good dynamic to keep you here. Having you believe that you die, right? Put that fear in it, so then you have a belief system. The thoughts of how you perceive things, the reason why if you cut your flesh, you bleed. But as soon as you give respect, why would it have to be imperative to believe in the divine in a sincere way, if you didn't disrespect that? What if the oppression that we are dealing with is our failed creation? Not a brother of us that is our failed creation, like, and they ended up oppressing us because we went against the Most High. Look at how black people are right now with, and I don't want this to sound funny coming from me, but look how we are with our children. Look how we are with things of the world. Look how we are with, and they reverse the polarity as far as what should be, how these things are, and then you just, You know what I'm saying? It's like it was a breakdown, a slow breakdown, and then we are stripped of divine power right now. It's not like we have the ultimate power. We can see the skies, the stars, and they're talking about this is coming and that's coming because maybe something is realizing. Maybe the body itself is starting to realize. And not for nothing, it's time travel in the body. So whether you know it or not, I can touch your skin or you can touch your own skin. And that place where you touch yourself at, it's a synapses, right? So when you touch your arm, an electrical signal from where you touch yourself at has to go to the brain, tell your brain that you're being touched, get back to that spot to have it register as a feeling. So it has to move faster, right? I'm telling you, so I don't make this up as a fact. It has to move faster just so you can feel what a touch is. So this gets real deep. It gets real deep. Because I caught myself saying today, Divine, I don't want to create nothing that's not perfect. And I don't want to tell myself that it is. I don't want to be a part of things that's not perfect. I don't want to be mixed in with things that are flawed because they choose to be. That wasn't I didn't make that choice. And if I did and don't know it, I wouldn't make that choice consciously. Just something to think about. I ain't gonna hold you. Just trying to show you something. NAGA the wise.